Hey guys, we're back with Gabriel Knight, part 7. So let's start off by reading the newspaper.
Times dated June 21st, 1993. Gabriel's eye is immediately drawn to an article about the Voodoo Murders. He scans it quickly.
I don't believe this. They've closed the case.
What case?
The Voodoo Murders case. The paper says that the police have learned that the murders were a result of an underworld cartel war, and that the war is over.
That's not good?
It's ridiculous. And what about the killers? And the voodoo angle, they never got anything on that.
I know you were into it, Gabriel, but if it's over, that's hardly a negative. Anyway, if you're that upset, why don't you talk it over with your pal Mosely?
You don't get it, Grace. Just forget it, okay?
Gabriel decides to check his horoscope, despite his disgust. Death walks close to you today. Resist temptation lest his eye fall on you, too.
Peachy.
Gabriel also spots an ad for Sam Springleton, a jeweler. Sam hangs out at the Napoleon House.
Okay, that might come in handy for the little clay thing we did. Sorry. So let's read the newspaper. Case closed. Voodoo Murders solved. The so-called Voodoo Murders over at last, says Detective Franklin Mosely of the New Orleans Police Department. Our investigation has turned up that these murders were the result of an underworld drug cartel war, said Mosely at a press conference yesterday evening. That war has now ended and the people of this great city are safe again. The police say they are doubling efforts to crack down on the underworld drug trade that briefly turned New Orleans into its private battleground. Okay, that is weird. Why would he do that? He doesn't believe that himself, does he? So he'll probably pay Mosely a visit soon. But let's talk to Grace.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
We still have to request research.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
The patterns.
I have a pattern I need you to research.
How interesting. What is it?
It's a reconstruction of the tracings they found around the murder victims. The ones done in flour and blood.
Yuck. You shouldn't carry this kind of thing around. Who knows what these symbols mean?
Well, wear your evil banishing gloves if you want, but check it out for me, would you?
I'll see what I can find out. Anything else?
No research.
I can't think of anything.
But there's still some other stuff. I mean, we talked to her about all this stuff before. So let's go with the messages.
Do you have messages for me?
Your grandmother called. She said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay.
Okay, another message.
Do you have messages for me?
That man from Germany called again. Wolfgang Ritter. Now he's claiming to be a relative of yours.
Interesting.
Well, it kind of makes sense. I mean, Ritter is German and means knight. So he could be a relative.
Can I get that phone number for Wolfgang Ritter?
Sure, I'll give it to you when we're done talking.
All right.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? Never heard of it. Must be a local custom. New Orleanians love to party.
I don't know if I want to ask about all this stuff. Yeah, I will. Why not?
Do you have any idea what Cabri Saint-Caux means?
No. Sounds French, though.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Ugh, no. Makes my skin crawl, though.
Have you ever heard of Dambala?
No, sorry.
Do you know anything about Veves?
Not a clue. Sorry.
Ritual patterns used in voodoo.
Fascinating. I can't help you out, though.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
I'd rather not hear about your sex life, Knight.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
In New Orleans?
I think so.
No, I don't, but it sounds dangerous. You're not gonna try to find this voodoo group yourself, are you?
Would I do that? Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Ugh, now what are you getting yourself into?
Nothing you need to know about, do you?
I know there are dark forms of any major religion. Where there's a yin, there's a yang.
Speaking of yin and yang...
But no, I don't know anything really about voodoo, dark or otherwise, sorry.
Are you sure you don't know anything about black voodoo?
You are desperate. I told you I can't help you.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Wasn't she a big voodoo queen before the Civil War?
That's right.
Well, you've just heard everything I know about her.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
What do you want to know?
Nothing, I guess. Never mind.
Here's that phone number.
Thanks.
Okay, that was it, I guess. So let's try to call Ritter. Can we use the phone with it? Yeah, we can.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international?
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, that's a long ass phone number. 490932433333.
I'm not calling Germany. That Wolfgang Ritter guy says he's a relative, but I've never heard of him.
Okay. So, we are not gonna call Germany. Maybe Grace can actually call him for us. Could try that.
Does this mean anything to you?
Sure, I'm the one that gave it to you, remember?
Alright, nothing new. So, that guy's weird. Can we...
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond.
Okay. Let's go to the police station and talk to Mosely. Where was that? Yeah, BD. Kind of sad that we can't talk
Knight,
to... Okay.
hate to tell you this, but you're out of a book. The Voodoo Murders case has been closed.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that. Son of a bitch.
Okay, let's talk to Mosely. See if he has anything concerning
I have to tell you, bud, I'm pretty pissed off about this case being closed. You guys are making a big mistake.
Hey, I'm not any happier about it than you are, Knight, but I've got my orders.
Okay, let's ask about all this stuff.
Do you know anything about veves?
What?
Veves. They're ritualistic patterns used in voodoo. You know, like those marks we found around the body.
You know what the department says about that, Knight? That voodoo stuff is faked.
Yeah, well, they're wrong. These veves...
Look, just stop worrying about those marks. I don't think they're relevant.
What do you know about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Sounds like a put-on to me.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
You mean gumbo?
No, I mean Damballa.
Never heard of it.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
Oh, come on. Somebody's pulling your leg, Knight.
Are you sure?
Ain't nothing secret about voodoo in New Orleans. There's a museum, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but that's the stuff they want you to see.
You're getting mighty paranoid, Knight.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
I told you, you're nuts. Drop it.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
I told you.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Say what?
Ogun Badagri. It's a voodoo loa.
Speak English or shut up, Knight.
Sorry, didn't mean to confuse you. Guess I'll take that as a no. How can I convince you to reopen the case?
Look, the department's not interested.
So, couldn't you make them interested?
With what? I got 7 bodies and still no leads. The voodoo angle's worthless, and besides, these people aren't hurting anybody but out-of-town drug dealers and hitmen.
The voodoo stuff is not worthless. It's the key to the whole thing. And these people are dangerous. They need to be stopped.
Okay, you want me to reopen this case? Prove what you just said.
What do you mean?
You need to prove that there's a legitimate voodoo cult in New Orleans. Prove that they're a threat. Get me a lead on the cult.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
I already told you. You still prove. Get.
Okay, so I guess we got some quests, not quests, but things that Mosely wants us to do to prove that there's like a voodoo cult and stuff like that. Legitimate threat, whatever. Okay, so I guess we will get out of here and we're gonna go to Grandma's house next. Finally. Oh, what a nice house.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Oh, sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give me a kiss.
Now come on, sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
Okay. Let's have a look at this stuff.
Grandmother Knight rarely uses the fireplace these days. Too much of a hassle to clean.
Well, Gran,
No. Ah. Thought I could look at the pictures and it said exit the map. Hey, Grandma, it's me again. Decided to come back.
My precious boy, how wonderful of you to stop by.
Can't stay away from you, Gran.
All right.
The sofa has a worn blue chintz pattern that Gabriel remembers fondly. Gran's knitting. She whips through that stuff like there was no tomorrow. Steal Granny's knitting? How low can you get?
True, true.
Granny likes soft lighting.
Oh, that's like my mother.
Granny likes the lamps lit.
All right. Flowers.
Fresh carnations, Granny's favorite.
Aw.
That clock has been in the Wright family, Granny's family, for centuries.
All right. Let's talk to Granny.
How have you been, Gran?
Just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but, I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic.
Don't be silly. You can call me anytime.
All right, there we go. A lot of dialogue options, so let's go through them.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear so much about it these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
What can you tell me about the Voodoo Murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Nolans is very southern, of course, though not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
What can you tell me about Nolans?
My goodness, boy, you lived here all your life, just like me. I can't tell you much that you don't already know.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? I remember when I was a girl, we always had a St. John's Eve Mass. The Mass was said at midnight, and we held candles. One time, on the way home, we were waylaid by a large group of drunken revelers. They didn't hurt us, but oh, I was frightened. My father was furious. We never went to St. John's Eve Mass after that.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I haven't celebrated it in years, Gabriel. I'm sure there's still Mass in the more traditional churches, but I don't go.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
Marie Laveau. Oh, of course. She was that voodoo woman, wasn't she? She preyed on people's fears and superstitions, is what I think. There are always those willing to take other people's money for nothing. You stay away from people like that, Gabriel.
Yes, Gran. Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? What kind of snakes, dear?
I don't know, local kinds.
Well, we used to get cottonmouths in the park when I was a girl, but I haven't heard of one being sighted for years. Milk snakes and garter snakes are also around these parts, but they can't hurt you.
Thanks, Gran. Do you know anything about animal masks?
Why, no, dear. Do you mean Mardi Gras masks?
Never mind, Gran. Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
Gabriel, my goodness. What are you up to these days?
Oh, nothing, Gran, really.
You'd better not be. You know you're the only family I have left.
I know, Gran. It's okay. Do you know anything about black voodoo?
I don't know much about any kind of voodoo, Gabriel.
Does the phrase Cabri Sanko mean anything to you?
Something without something, I think. Oh, my French is so rusty, I swear my mind is going.
No, it's okay. Thanks. Does the name Ogun Badakri mean anything to you?
What, dear?
Never mind. Have you ever heard of Dambala?
What, dear?
Never mind. Tell me about yourself.
Me? Surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
No, come on, Gran.
Oh, all right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden. I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas and corn and cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
Oh, I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend, Alma. And at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fine brimstone annex. And a piece of it, one of those small add-on doos for men, went flying off. I swear, Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. Oh, it was then I knew that he was for me.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddaddy and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Just tell me anything at all.
I wish you'd settle down and give me a great-grandchild.
Oh, Gran. Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather. And I never will.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He walked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. Oh, I tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. Oh, the nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he lost another. And I'd tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. It took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
Oh, I know you are, dear.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was. He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift, but he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him.
Tell me about my father.
Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. Oh, they were two peas in a pod.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, oh, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then, and he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road, or a wildcat.
So wait, did I miss something here? Because she said that our granddad died when their son, or our father, was 8, and our parents died when we were 8. Well, there are a lot of similarities. We all have nightmares, and what was that other thing? Yeah, our granddad wasn't very good at keeping jobs. He was more like a loser type of guy. Not loser, but, you know, seemed like he was cursed, getting hit by a streetcar and stuff like that. Or maybe he was killed. Who knows? Let's continue. Sorry.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school, but Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated that it was Margaret's money that supported the three of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or two, but he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked to find her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be such a sweet gesture.
It's just past the Ross tomb, right? Oh, maybe I will. Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from her great aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. Oh, they never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Oh, you.
Have you baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some and I'll whip up a half a dozen.
You've lost weight. Are you courting a new man?
Oh, Gabriel. Don't be silly. You know there'll never be anyone but your granddad for me.
Your hair looks very pretty today, Gran.
Well, thank you, dear. So does... Well, you've always had such nice, thick hair, Gabriel.
You know, I always tell people that my Gran is the prettiest grand old belle in the city.
Oh, dear. You shouldn't talk so.
What's new, Gran?
I've been working on baby sweaters for the church bazaar. Keeps me busy.
Done anything interesting lately?
I raised you.
Lately, Gran.
Oh, you know me, Gabriel. I always got my nose poked in something.
It must run in the family. You're looking well, Gran.
Oh, thanks, dear.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Yeah, that was enough. But very interesting. A lot of our family history. And a lot of concerning the story here. So let's go upstairs.
I'm gonna go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
And search our father's stuff and see if we can find out some more. God, what is wrong with my mouth today? It's really weird. Okay, we got a chair.
The sheet-covered upholstered rocker used to be in Gabriel's nursery.
Oh, memories.
It's an old, dusty bicycle tire.
That's a bicycle tire? What the hell?
A skylight lets welcome sunlight into the attic.
Alright. Anything else? A hat.
It's a lady's hat from the 1920s.
And from Gran's Virginia Woolf period.
Let's look at the trunk.
The old trunk looks like it's gone to hell and back.
It looks pretty heavy.
Okay. Let's see if we can open it.
There's a lot of
holy
Granddad's old
shit.
stuff in here. Might be something interesting.
That is a lot of shit. Of course, he's got the leather pants. So, and a beer stein, of course. Okay, can we do anything with it? Oh, we could just move it around. I get it. Okay, let's use the hats. Nothing under the hats.
Some old clothes, including a pair of leather shorts.
Aren't those called lederhosen?
Look at that. He has like a German passport. But yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to say anything now. But when did he immigrate? Like in the 1920s? The passports probably didn't look like that back then. Or is this our father's stuff? Yeah, it's our father's stuff. Of course it is. I'm so dumb. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Some old clothes.
Oh, look.
Aren't those called lederhosen?
Yeah. A wallet. Okay. A Bible. Nothing under the Bible. Letters?
A bundle of letters. Love letters between Harrison and Rebecca.
Okay,
More of Harrison Knight's German books.
Just what I need.
okay. Did we miss anything? I mean, we can, like, lift stuff up, but... why? Nothing under there? Or can we, like, move it around or something? No? Be a little too sophisticated anyway. Okay, the cross. Okay. Oh, I get it. We probably have to move stuff at a certain order. Oh, look, it's a key.
What's this? It's some sort of key.
Nice. Okay, let's look at the clock, because that thing looks...
An elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origin, is among the discarded treasures of the attic.
Okay. Let's use it. Oh, that looks like a puzzle, doesn't it? Can we do anything with it?
The face of the clock is hand-painted. A ring of 6 symbols surrounds the face of the clock. A sword, a sun, an angel, a noose, an eclipse, and a dragon. The ring of symbols doesn't appear to have any mechanical function, but it does move.
Okay. Oh, look at that. We can move it. We can set the clock.
There's an interesting design in the base of the clock.
There's probably some kind of treasure in there, or something like... Oh, look, there's a keyhole.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens, so I guess we have to get the right combination of symbol and time. So, because it's a German clock, and remember the poem I translated into German? It said 3 dragons, and if you remember in the last cutscene, you have a reoccurrence, or the last dream, a reoccurrence of the number 3, and there were like 3 snakes and stuff like that. So we're gonna try to put the number on 3 o'clock, and then put the dragon up top, and then try. I hope this is gonna work. Probably not. It does work.
The key winds the clock's mechanism.
Awesome.
Granddaddy, you old fox.
A secret drawer has opened in the base of the clock.
Yeah, we noticed. But we have a letter and a picture. Let's look at them. Sounds interesting. Clock. It's the clock letter. I was used
The
wrong
letter is written in German, but Gabriel determines what he can about it. It was sent from a place called Schloss Ritter in Rittersberg, West Germany. The letter is addressed to mein Sohn Heinz and signed Wilhelm Ritter. One of the reoccurring words strewn throughout the letter is the word Schattenjäger. The only other thing that Gabriel can decipher about the letter is a sense of urgency in the handwriting and in the heavy use of a quill tip, bold strokes, and underlining.
Okay, Schattenjäger means shadow hunter, in case you wanted to know. And I guess Henry is the English Heinz. Could be. Yeah.
The letter is written and it was sent from the letter. One of the
talking about German,
the only
and I'm having trouble speaking the TH, of course. Let's look at that.
The old photograph shows Gabriel's grandfather with 2 other men that Gabriel has not identified. The back of the photo has the following written on it: Schloss Ritter, 1925.
Okay. Let's ask. Oh, it's golf bag. Let's look at the golf bag.
It's Granddaddy's old golf bag.
Yeah, it is.
Golf was never... I'm not sure what my game was, but it wasn't golf.
Alright, let's ask Grandma about the picture. Maybe she knows something.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
That one in the middle is your grandfather. Those other two, oh, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You should. Alright, let's ask her about the letter.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
No, dear. I'm afraid I don't speak a word of German.
We know somebody who speaks German. And that's, what was his name? Wolfgang Ritter. So maybe Gabriel
Well, Gran, I'd better get going.
Now more
Thanks for stopping by.
open
No
to calling him.
problem. Love you, Gran.
Alright, we're leaving. And should we go to the bookstore now? Talk to him? Why not? Let's do that. Let's try to dial his number again and see if Gabriel actually wants to talk to him. Oh no, we wanted to go to the grave first. Forgot about that. Oh, what the hell? Who are you?
Hey, kids!
Bruno, how nice.
Gee, a customer.
Of yours? Hardly.
How's the flower business?
Well, better than the used book business, I see.
Rare books.
That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here. Are you gonna sell me that wonderful painting of yours today?
Yeah, how much? We need money.
How much would you give me for it?
Oh, you're serious? You'll let me have it?
Gabriel, don't you dare sell your father's painting.
Yeah, I'll let you have it all right. How much for the painting?
Well, I could give you 100. That's all I can let go at the moment, you know. My affairs are so tied up.
Gabriel, $100 for your father's painting?
Stay out of this, Grace.
Fine, it's yours.
Fine.
Take the money.
It's yours.
Gabriel!
Here's the 100.
Maybe we can get it
You
back
better
later
take good
on.
care of this, Bruno. This is not just another of your hip art pieces, you know.
Really? Well, I fully intend to make the most of its display. Though not for your sake, I'm sure. At least in my shop, there'll be a chance of someone actually seeing it.
Look, there are 3 snakes on it again, too.
I can't believe I actually got it. Just wait until I show Sid.
Who's Sid?
I don't believe you.
It's just a painting, Grace. There are things I have to do.
Well, the thing we have to do is actually, that's why I sold it. We want to buy that animal mask from that store. It's 120 bucks. We got 100 now, which is great. But let's call Mr. Wolfgang.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international?
001, no, 011. 49. I think 49 is actually the international German thing number. 932433333.
I'm not calling Germany.
Why
That
not?
Wolfgang Ritter guy says he's a relative, but I've never heard of him.
Well, what do you mean you've never heard of him? It's like a fucking letter. Okay, that's weird. Let's try to use the clock letter.
The letter is written in German, but it was sent. The letter is addressed to one of the reoccurring words. The only other thing that Gabriel can decipher about the letter is a sense of...
Yeah, okay. So we can't use...
Gabriel can't see a way to...
No, he can't. Alright, so... should I end the part here? I think I'll end the part here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.